Hey, before the podcast gets started, make sure to go cop some t-shirts. I'm gonna take you out to the website. YouTube demonetized me, so your boy broke as fuck. So if you want to help support me, hold on, let me pull this up. Oh, this is Stu's site. You can fuck with Stu too, but let me show y'all mine first. I'm the priority here, motherfucker. This is my shit. All right, so you got the Game Time tee, Game Time on the front, oversized tee, Teammacho on the back. You got the I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm not supposed to curse in the first minute, but fuck it. I'm already demonetized, niggas. Facts. So yeah, I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm a bodybuilder. Yeah, so whatever you want to fuck with it. If you don't want to fuck with it, that's okay too. So yeah, like if you want, hey, if you don't even support me, if you support Kane, if you like dogs, if you want Kane to stay on his diet, you know what I'm saying, keep getting brolic, keep getting buff, fuck with some t-shirts. All right. If not, Kane gonna be hungry. I'll put the camera on him, but he's sleeping right now. They don't. That's why I said buff. I'm like, they don't know what brolic mean. If you're not from New York, you probably don't know. But anyway, support Stu as well, because he do this podcast. And I like to support my friend's business. Unlike everybody else who go rock Gucci and all that shit, I rock with my boys. So go cop Stu stuff, beefstew.net. He got the Fear the Fro shirt. That's my favorite right there, Fear the Fro Stu. And then he got this serious bodybuilder one, beef stew with the abs and thighs. Oh, he cheaper than mine. His is $28. Damn. I gotta drop my rate, but I gotta match that rate. The motherfuckers cop my shit. But anyways, I don't want to make this too long. Teammacho.shop and beefstew.net. Fuck with your boys. Enjoy the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And local shows are just like, they're gutted now. There's a lot of them, and there's a ton of opportunities to qualify. So, like, you never get any battles like at that level anymore. Not really.
Like, it got to be once in a blue moon by chance. Maybe it might be close to the Nationals or close to the USA's, and then you see a couple of good guys at the same show. But usually it's really not much there.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was so. What's up, Ken? Can you hear me? Well, yeah, but she had to qualify, so she had to do it anyways. But yeah, he was there. So what's up, bro? Zay is probably tired and high somewhere.
Sorry, I literally just got back like a couple ago, so I'm just trying to sign in. Sorry, I'm late, guys.
No, you good, bro. You good. We kind of figured you was working or something.
Yeah, no, I'm back full time Sunday, right? I give you my word, and my word is my bond. You know.
Fire. So, you guys want to talk more about Matt and Mike Van Wick?
I got an interesting scoop though. I don't know if you heard. I was watching Abdullah and Muscle Discord earlier today, and he said that Quentin is actually working with Abdullah now. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
No, I didn't hear about that.
What?
Here's the thing: does Abdullah have the same effect if you're not in Kuwait? I don't know if Quentin is going to Kuwait or not.
I wouldn't even know because, right? Like, he doesn't work. He's not associated with Oxygen anymore either. So it's not like he's training him in Oxygen gym. So, I mean, those guys. I know RPG worked with Abdullah. But RPG wasn't really in Kuwait, was he, when he did Detroit? I don't think he was. Right?
Good point. Okay, good point.
Abdullah has his own facilities, though, that aren't Oxygen for his athletes who are over there. But, like,
he got money.
Ron Gordon, no, he didn't. He wasn't over there.
Yeah.
Well, he looked his best ever. So, what does that mean? Who the fuck knows? Because coaching is not black and white. One person could be. I guess nobody knows until we got to see it to know, unfortunately. So hopefully it's good because I don't want Quint wasting any more of his time. I'm assuming there's a strong reason why he picked Abdullah because Quint seems pretty dead strong that he doesn't really want to fuck with a coach unless they're solid. So maybe he has reason to believe he's solid. So I'm gonna trust his judgment.
Well, I was gonna say too, Stu. Thanks because I watched the last podcast on the plane, and Stu, you had mentioned some stuff that it's pretty behind the scenes because I didn't even know that was Quinn's experience with Jansen in terms of like the payment and stuff like that. So there's outside of, I don't want to bring up the Jansen situation again, but I know that there's two sides to it. But outside of just performance, right? You got to think about like how you were treated as a person, like as a person, like at that point, you're just commodity, right? You're just a money-making machine for the person. You don't even know they're showing up and they send you an invoice to pay for your flight. And this guy's the part owner of Raw. Like I'm not bashing
just for the record, Quint was paying to be coached for 2 years. He wasn't getting this for free. No, he was paying. Shit. I don't know if he was paying full freight like all the regular guys are, but yeah, it wasn't free. He spent a lot of money.
Wow.
On this, and
damn,
yeah, but I understand that like that's common misconception that like all the pros don't pay to get coached, but like a lot do. I mean, Chris Aceto, he doesn't coach anybody just gratis, it's for free.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, I mean, I thought Quint would qualify for the Camp Jansen special. No,
I guess not, man.
Damn.
Just being Nigerian doesn't count, I guess.
I never got for much these days unless you have an Olympian now. That's the state of the game.
Oh man, sorry that you had to experience that, Quint. I thought at least he got the shit for free. Damn. Excuse me. No, but here's the thing about podcasts. By the time you film and post it, so much new information comes out. Right? So once we're done, I had a few conversations with a few people just randomly, and I'm like, damn. Now knowing all of this, I want to listen back to what we said because I'm like, that changes things a little bit, Even with the surveillance camera, it doesn't. Mike Van Wyck obviously is still wrong. But seeing that he approached him, I didn't think he approached him because you didn't see that part. So I'm like, that makes it a little bit different, but you're still in the wrong. So that it's not a huge difference, but still that's important information,
I feel like that's being spun though, because Jeff did mention in his story and his caption that he went to Mike to ask what the problem was. So he did. It's not like Jeff omitted that portion from the story. He included it, but people have put it in this new light that like he went over to Mike. So by definition, from him going over to Mike to ask what the problem was, is he's looking for an actual issue. And I don't think that's the case. Like I'm with you. Like I don't believe in like, there's two sides. Like, people are against Fuad for not saying anything on it and all that stuff. Like I think that there's too much bandwagon going on. At the end of the day, they're two grown men. Jeff is not a kid. I see around people keep saying like he's some like teenager. Jeff is older than all of us. Let me just preface that, okay? He's not a kid. These are two grown men. Unfortunately, he's physically smaller. And yes, it is assault. I condemned what Mike did. But at the end of the day, they're still two grown men. So people are kind of making it out to be like, I don't know, like there's just a little kid in the park that's just being dragged around and beaten up, and that's I don't think that's the case either. I think there's a little bit too much going on both sides.
I think I think both sides, like the fans of both sides are both being pretty dramatic. I think everybody should be able to agree that it was wrong, right? It's just that the way people talk about it is a bit overboard about that. That's like attempted murder, and he could have killed him. Granted, there's always a possibility that could happen, but but it didn't.
That's why you don't get into fights. That's why you're not allowed to do that, because people can get really badly hurt, and in crazy cases they can die. You know,
Yeah.
you hit your head wrong, like you're dead. It's crazy.
But this is my and I agree with everything. Let me just say this, because anytime anyone brings up a rebuttal with Mike, it seems like you're defending the guy. I'm not defending him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as human beings, people do get into conflict. Conflict is normal. Even if, yes, it may gravitate to physical or not, conflict is normal. So I feel like at the end of the day, if you look at the tapes or whatever happened, yeah, Jeff fell. If that bench wasn't there, he literally pushed him. He pushed him twice. Yeah, it was a neck. People are saying it's a jab. It wasn't a jab. He pushed him on his neck, okay? Like, I think some things are being taken out of context. At the end of the day, it's still assault. In the court of law, I agree. It's assault, whatever the charge is, that's the charge. But people are kind of making this seem like the guy was straight up trying to murder him. Like, come on. You know, that's a little...
Nick Shigili called him a kid like 5 times. I'm like, Nick, he's older than you. He might not look like it, but he's older. You can't keep calling him a kid, man. But he called everybody a kid. I swear. I'm like, everybody's not a damn kid, you know? Yeah.
Biddy, I'm switched to my laptop. Can you add me on there?
Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you click it again? I thought it was a glitch. I fucking X that shit out. You know?
I'll be right back.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the in real time as we're doing a podcast. Once we release it, new shit comes out, and Jeff has the full video because they were filming the whole time, and he has the audio. I'm assuming he's gonna release it on his YouTube because why would you waste the views, right? You got to get the views. Yeah. So once he does that,
sick of this at this point. But I think, you know, last time we were talking about this, I mentioned a pattern of behavior. I think one of the ways that Mike stays relevant is by getting into these controversies. You know, whether it's just his personality, it's like he tends to get into a lot of conflict with people, or, you know, if he does it on purpose, if it's planned, I don't know. But like, this has happened multiple times, and I can't think of any reason to talk about the guy other than, you know, the fact that he attacked somebody, or he, you know, threatened to hurt somebody for asking to weigh him, or, you know, whatever it is, right? You know, and, you know, there's no such thing as bad publicity if that's, because he has his core fan base of like divorced dad losers who are going to buy, you know, his t-shirts, his tough guy t-shirts. You know, these are guys who like unironically put Punisher skulls on their pickup trucks. These are losers. You know, that's his fan base, and like they're gonna buy his shit no matter what. You know, so
one thing I'll say too, Beatty. I think I said this before about when Samson won, for example. If you want to always get the scoop on a real person, you kind of look at the people that actually are in their vicinity. How they react to certain situations, right? That's how they always say, like, if you want to date someone, don't look at their profile, go to the tag photos, right? Yeah. You see the real person, right? So it's I have noticed that people that are at Pure Muscle, it seems like there is a united relief. That's the word I can use. A united relief that, like, he's been, you know, suspended or expelled from the facility. So it seems like, and I'm not saying this in a definitive manner, but it seems like people around there that were around him didn't really like him. It didn't seem like he's someone that, like, a lot of people around the Pure Muscle, you know, training facility were really fond of. And that speaks a lot of volume as well.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. To go back to what Stu said, right? I see a lot of people saying, oh, his career is done. Nobody's buying a t-shirt. I'm like, who do you think we're buying t-shirts? You think Jeff Nipper fans would buy t-shirts? Like, it's his demographic. They're going to support him no matter fucking what. If he would have shot the motherfucker, they'll still be buying t-shirts. So whoever was buying Mike Van Wyck t-shirts, they're not going to stop buying it. Trust me, you know. So
his whole brand is being a dick, right? That's his whole brand. That's only a small part of my brand personally, but it's probably the whole thing, right?
Yeah. When people are outraged, I think they assume that the entire world is gonna just ban you, right? But it's really only you and Jeff supporters. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't buy Jeff or Mike shit. It makes no difference. So if you're either like us, where you don't really give a shit about neither. With all due respect, I'm not. I don't mean to sound in a negative way, but I don't really follow up with neither of them that closely. Or you're on one side or the other. So it's not going to change. It's really not going to change anything. I mean, even if, like I said, even if we disagree with him, we don't care enough to talk shit about either of them. I mean, I'm just sarcastic. I make jokes. I make jokes to both sides just because I think it's funny. I think the entire thing was just dramatic. We're talking about training styles, bro. We're not talking about wives. We're not talking about children. Samson had people talking shit about his wife every day. He didn't punch nobody, and he would have been justified. If somebody talks about your wife, you could throw whatever you want to call it, throw jab, throw punch, a choke slam, whatever the fuck they calling it,
Legally speaking, no.
No, of course not legally, but that's a sensitive topic when it comes to family. We're talking about training styles, motherfucker. Me and Janicki would have had fights by now already if it was for that. Come on, bro. What are you talking about? Oh man. Okay. We didn't have any new revelations about the Jansen situation, though.
No, I mean, outside of his, yeah, I mean, the thing is done, man. It happened, so right? It's done. He's officially retired. People have moved on. I feel like with bodybuilding, it's the next week. Everyone's going to forget about it, and everyone's going to move on. That's just how things roll.
Same with Jansen, right? I see people talking about, oh, this is going to affect Raw and Revive. But literally in a week, nobody's going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 weeks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw some people were calling for him to step down from Raw. I'm like, well, what does this have to do with his? What does this have to do with that side of the company? This is coaching business. And that's my problem, with this whole. I know, Stu, the last podcast, you said it's not necessarily cancel culture, but I don't know what to call it. And I agree with you, but it's almost like people take it to the next step where it becomes this religious crusade. We need to ruin this person, because X, Y, and Z happened. It's take accountability for what happened, and whatever it is. In this case, he lost his clientele, whether he was retiring or not. I don't know if this was the decision that made him retire or he was going to do it, but everyone left. That's the premise of it, right? So accountability's been taken, and let us all just move on to the next thing.
Curious to see if, because he coaches a lot of amateurs, guys you never heard of, right? And I'm wondering if they're going to get any of their money back. Is he just tell them to go fuck themselves? Yeah, because that would be completely normal, standard for him.
Stu,
just ghost him. Yeah, I mean, it's
So I know a handful of amateurs that work with Matt, and I got to be honest. I don't have any proof of this, but I honestly cannot imagine that he's actually coaching these people. With all due respect, I don't. I mean, he obviously doesn't have the time if he can't coach his top guys, right? Barely. So how would he have time to coach these amateurs? So I got to be honest. I don't really know who's been coaching them. So that's just something I'm thinking. And if he is coaching them, then it can't be that high quality, right? If Nick Walker can't get a 10 out of 10 coaching from Matt, then who the fuck is Let's be honest. So, I would assume those people would have. Oh, I don't know about a refund, but I'm assuming they would have left him. I mean, it wouldn't make sense,
I was talking to Blue last night, and he said he's had 5 or 6 people who have ex Jansen guys who've come his way just in the last week or so.
Hey man, if any of you ex Jansen guys are watching, me and Stu offer really, really attentive coaching if you guys want to sign up for that.
The bar is very low for you guys, I know, but
hey, man, I'm not gonna say it act like I'm the best coach in the world, but I do give my clients attention, and sometimes that's all it takes to actually land the plane. Paying attention, you know. Shit, when what's his name? What's the guy? Mo Fowler left Hany for Boss of Outlaw, and it seemed like a bad choice, but it depends. It doesn't matter how good of a coach it is if you're not getting the attention. So if he felt like he wasn't getting the attention he wants, and Boss of Outlaw seems to pay really close attention, I thought he looked his best ever. So it's more about that sometimes than even the knowledge. I'm sure Hany has more bodybuilding knowledge than Boss of Outlaw, but he was paying closer attention, I guess, you know.
Let me ask you guys this as a segue from this. Mm-hmm. What's your guys' opinion on this, like, teams? You know, like when you're talking about coach, people could talk about teams. I'm like
so teams. This is funny, dude.
You're talking about
back like 12, 13 years ago, Blue was starting to get into coaching seriously, like he was doing his full time, and he made hoodies and t-shirts that said like Team Me, because like he didn't want people like to say they were on Team Blue or whatever the fuck, right? So he just he like, because he was mocking all the other people who are on teams, because it's not a team sport. Like, I understand it takes support, it takes a village, right, to get somebody on stage, but it's not a team sport. And I think the team thing is a marketing tactic which is used to make people feel like they're a part of something.
For sure.
For the more casual competitors out there.
Oh, boom, you said it. I think newer competitors and casual competitors, a lot of people, obviously not the hardcore people, a lot of people get into sport just because they want to be a part of something, honestly. They want to feel like they're doing something in life and they're part of something, right? This is cool, you know? A lot of people, they don't care where they play, they don't care about any of this. They just like, I think this is cool. Now I can tell people I'm a bodybuilder, even though they kind of really not, right? You know, so they feel like they're getting cool points. The team thing, when it's literal and it's like, I've been hearing like, I don't want to call any names, but in general, like the team thing sometimes goes too far. If it's just like bypassing, like somebody says, if you're somebody with what's your coach name, Ken?
Andrew Fu.
Andrew Vu. Let's say you and somebody who works with him post a picture and you're like, oh, Team Vu. You're not being literal. It's just kind of like, this is my boy, whatever. That's one thing, but when they run with it and there's like 100 people just rocking the hoodies and shirts, and it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of annoying a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
That's why we're all friends, because it's been irking me a little bit. I just noticed recently, especially I knew it was in bikini, but I've been seeing it in like open, like amateurs to national. I'm like, man, what are you guys talking about, man? I don't understand this team thing. You know, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's kind of weird.
The tool to like sell your services.
Yeah,
fine, go get your money, right? But like, when I have a problem with it is like it's very prevalent at the local level, like especially up here in the Northwest. It's been like that's Blue is from the Northwest, and he doesn't like the scene up here at all, because it's full of charlatans and hucksters and people who have teams and don't know how to coach for shit. And they literally have, like, at the local shows here, they have team awards for the team or the coach who put the most people on stage or did the best with them or whatever. It's really odd.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. Yeah, I mean, in general, I don't think you should pick a coach because of their relationship with somebody else. If that makes sense. How many people have you heard? Think about it. Just think about this. How many people have you heard say, "I wanted to work with Matt because of him in Dallas"? Just think about that. Is that a good reason? Like, because and then there've been people who worked with him and then left, and they're like, "Yeah, because I didn't feel like we were that close." And it's like, stop trying to recreate this dream of being the the next Dallas in your head. Like,
Yeah.
you might not be. And Matt had even come out and said it, like, hey, he said that actually on his like coaching site. Like, listen, if we make a friendship and it's like legitimate, it is what it is. But like, we're not here to like try to force a friendship. He spoke about it many times because a lot of people are going to him trying to be like his best friend. Like, hey, let's go out and eat and like, wait, relax, motherfucker. Like, you know, because they saw that relationship with Dallas or even Nick, and they want to be that close to him. You can't force that, first of all. And this is a coach. Let's just hire a fucking coach to pick you for bodybuilding show. If you end up being friends with him, that's separate. You know, that's complete separate. Me and Kyle, like, it's fun.
With me and Blue, like, we happen to live relatively nearby, and we're kind of like on the same page with a lot of the stuff in the industry, you know, so we're friends and we talk about this shit, right?
Yeah.
But that's not how it was at first, you know, 3 years ago.
And it's almost separate. It's almost separate conversations. I literally even call him, like, if I call him coach, it's because we're talking about coaching shit. And sometimes I'll be like, yo, what's up, bro? Because I'm literally talking to him as a friend. It's almost like two different relationships, and I don't know if they should blend to that point.
Yeah,
I think things get, you know. But Matt had even talked about with Dallas at one point. You like, they became so close that some of the calls were emotional. If he sees him feeling sad, let me give him more carbs. You see what I'm saying? If it gets too close, that's a little weird. You don't want to be making emotional choices.
Yeah, it could be a problem, you know, because at the end of the day, it's coach first, right? Like, if you build a relationship with this person, the primary function of the relationship is a coach to client relationship, right? Maybe after we retire, it can graduate into a friendship as a primary, but it's a coach to client relationship. So, like, even with Andrew, you know, we've gotten closer since I've been with Andrew now for 2 years and running. You know, we've gotten a lot closer, but I always try to understand that at the end of the day, this is a coach to client first. Everything else that comes after that, if we hang out or I go to Dallas, you know, I'm having some barbecue at his house or whatever, that is separate from this. You know, this is still the primary function. Without me being a bodybuilder and him being a good coach, this wouldn't even be happening at this point, right? Yeah. So this is the primary function of the relationship. That's how I kind of see it.
That's facts. Yeah. So you okay, so in your opinion, what would be the best way to pick a coach if it's not based off of their relationship with the client? What do you go by? I didn't hear you, but I can read your lips. Okay.
Yeah, resume, and like, you know, not just like top pros that a blind monkey could peek into a show, you know, like has this guy like taken somebody from like a middleweight up to a heavyweight over the course of a few years? Do they consistently get people in condition? And you know, that's the thing is, a lot of people aren't able to do that. So like, you know, if you go to their Instagram page and like they don't have a lot of pictures of their actual clients, then you know, you're not gonna be able to tell that. So it's kind of tough, and then you kind of have to like go and do a bunch of in-depth research and figure out, oh, this guy worked with him. Let me find the NBC News pictures, blah blah blah. It turns into quite a chore. And I think when Boston and Blue were doing that, you know, coach rating thing back in the day, I mean, a lot of that was just ripping into like the charlatans in the industry, right? But like, it was actually pretty valuable, you know? And remembering back to that a couple of years ago, it's like nothing that is coming out now is surprising at all.
Yeah.
It's like, took you this long?
They were ahead. Really? They were really ahead with that. They were ahead of their time with that show. I would say, to add to what Stu's saying, also, and this question is directed at us for our level at where we at. We're not just starting out, right? I would also say their training philosophy. So we joke about it all the time. You're a guy that's on the fence about insulin. Why would you go to Milos? It doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, good point.
Like, so kind of the things that they believe in, right? So also like training, you know, if you're a kind of guy that you don't believe in like low volume, you know, kind of like a low volume style, you know, maybe like, because Matt preached that a lot, right? When he was with Camp Jansen, all his guys kind of go with that method. If you're a guy that is really, you don't even want to do anything in relation to that, maybe that's not the right kind of person for you, because a lot of the things that he does is tailored towards that as well, with the training in mind, right? So I think that also plays a part. And just this one, I don't think it's as high on the priority list, but also body types, right? Like if you're a guy who, let's say the coach always only trains like 6 foot, 300 pound, like Chad Nichols, right? Chad Nichols, he had all the monsters back in the day, right? Big guys, and you're a guy who's like 150 pounds. Maybe you may want to try someone else. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to eat 12 ounces of meat, per day. Maybe you can't handle it, So I think those
people don't think about that.
Yeah,
people don't think about that. I feel like if you look at Chad and Aceto, they do a lot better with black guys. I think it has something to do with the diuretic use. I got to be honest, because I think black guys, it's hard. A lot of times, it's hard for them to look like really dry on stage, and they can handle a lot of diuretics because the muscle bellies. So I think when you like to throw a lot of diuretics and a lot of AIs and shit like that on the white guys, they might really fucking flatten out. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta watch track record. So I think track record is probably the most important. But also, I was gonna say, I was gonna make a point. What was the point I was gonna make? I mean, does it align with where you're at? Okay, boom. I believe that Hany is actually the best coach, because we know that before he was this Hany, he was working with local guys and he was bringing them from pretty average to pro level. So we know he's capable of that, but he's in a different position in his life now. So where are you at? Are you like a top 10 Olympian who's trying to get into top 3? You know what I'm saying? If you're not there, then maybe don't hire Hany, even though he could do it.
Well, you can't hire Hany.
I was going to say,
you can't afford it, and he will not take you. So, moot point.
In my opinion, even a Chad or a Cito, they do work with amateur guys. But I think you should work with coaches who focus more on amateurs. I think it's a different style of coaching, and a lot of the coaches who do that, they don't look for clout. If you pay attention, a lot of the coaches who work with a lot of amateurs, it's not because they can't work with pros. A lot of them don't really give a fuck about that, right? I know Blue and Compton, they don't really care about that. The only pros you really see them with are with pros that they turn pros, right? They don't go looking for, like, come work with me, pro. Come work. The pro that they have, how we there?
The treatment, right?
Exactly that. At the end of the day, like they're working with pros who they turn pro. So that's a whole different ballgame. So try to work with a coach at your level. So you said what was the word you used? You said track record. I'll say also reputation. Right, not being like a gossip king or a gossip queen, but we all hear stories. We've heard these. This might be new to a lot of people, but we've heard stories about most of these people. We've heard Milo stories and Matt stories and all of this. And if you keep hearing these stories, some of them are true. That was no slight at Milo. I'm just talking in general, right? Regardless of what it might be. We've heard stories about most of these people. So if your reputation always comes with a bad story, then you got to think about that. Even how they conduct themselves. I like to keep it separate from bodybuilding. But if my coach conducts himself as a complete dick, you can be a little bit of a dick, because we all are a little bit of a dick. Compton has that side if he wants to too. He could be an asshole, but in the best way possible. So if you conduct yourself in a way that is just inappropriate, I don't know if I want to work with you. It might rub me wrong. Even if you're nice to me, I'll be like, I don't like how this is going. So yeah, I'll say track record, a reputation, and match your level and style to some extent, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do giant sets personally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Insulin doesn't work with my body. It's just I look weird and soft and not so good.
So, or like maybe you're a guy that needs size, right? Like Chris Aceto, he's publicly said he doesn't do off seasons, right? So
Yeah,
maybe you're a guy that needs size and you need like a really, really structured off season. Maybe that's not your go-to, right? You may need someone that is known to put on size with guys. Maybe, reverse Milos, right, is known to blow guys up. So it depends on where you're at too in your career. I think that's also another portion that is not talked about, like where you're at in your career. You just mentioned Hany. So if you're on the end where you're at a cusp to win an Olympia, say like Mofuda, for example. Right now, Mofuda, it didn't work with Hany back then. Say Mofuda now becomes a top 5 Olympian and he gets back with Hany. It could be a very different relationship than when he first started, right? Because at this point, Hany's only incentive is winning Olympias. Like, let's be honest. Anything else, pro shows, it doesn't really matter, right? So there's incentive on both ends to make this relationship productive in a sense.
Exactly.
So
you got to be at least top 5 to get access to that Hany's honey we heard about.
Hany's honey.
Then you start loading that
Where
bitch
did you
up.
come up with these names, bro?
No, I didn't make that up. That's like a thing. That's a thing.
Hany's honey.
Hey,
that's
did
the
you know
name of this episode, bro?
Hey, once Derek got with Hany, them lats all of a sudden started jumping off of bones and shit. I'm like, whoa, them lats was not like that last year. What the fuck is going on? Oh man, no, I can't leave that in. That's classified information.
Nah, leave it.
It's hearsay.
Hey,
nothing wrong with hearsay.
People don't like when I make edits to the podcast. I'm like, hey, can you just take my word? If I edit something, it needs to be edited. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take my word. You know,
people were mad in the last one that you cut out a bunch of the shit that I said.
They didn't
For the
like
record, I asked him to cut it out.
I got DMs like, hey, why do you edit the podcast so much? I'm like, well, it's not as much as you think, but
Steve doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut.
I mean, it's like they trust me. They're the reason. Like I personally would want to leave everything, but certain things, it's just better. World isn't ready for some things, so some things you got to cut out. But yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. When Mofoda, as he works his way up, it might be a better fit. You know, it is somewhat of a talent to take somebody like Lunsford, who even though was a top 5 guy, was 5th in the 212 versus 1st in the open. That is, you do have to be a good coach to do that, but at the same time, it's a different art. That's a different art than somebody who's starting from the bottom with not the best genetics. It's 2 different arts. You know, that's refining somebody more than building somebody from the bottom up. Like Aceto, like you said, if you're somebody who gets to the big dude, you got all this muscle, he can bring you in shape. Just he's probably not going to do the other side that well. You know. Yeah. Do you think this should be frowned upon? What if I'm like, hey Milos, I want to work with you with the off season, and then I'll work with AJ Sims. Boom, I work with AJ Sims for the peak or for the prep. You know, granted, if I could make it out alive with this combination, then I'm doing good.
Okay. You'll do the off season with Milos, and then he'll say that he's still coaching you all the way through the show. He'll take like 40 pictures with you at the show because he's going to be there. Of course, he's at all the shows, and then he'll be like, this is my athlete." And then when you barely sneak out of the prep alive after working with AJ, maybe you win, maybe you're in dialysis. I don't know. Then if you win, Milos is gonna be posting those pictures like, and if you're in the hospital, he's gonna disavow.
Oh, it didn't have.
It look like cement, bro.
Jason is gonna be like, I don't work with pros anymore.
I didn't work with. now, like I said, that's a dangerous combination. But listen, if your body is sturdy, can handle that shit, bro, that's gonna be a crazy peak, bro. What? Or maybe have Boss of Outlaw in the last week do his little, because he likes to touch his skin. He grabs his skin. Boo. Wait, let me see. Whoa, you gotta dry out some more. That's his thing. He grabs his skin. But the shit is
no, that's a team. That's a team. That's what you call team there.
Dream team. Hire Psycho as your trainer. He'll be touching your fucking traps while you doing some crazy angles and shit.
Yeah, and Charles Glass, he's got the fucking laid out deck of insulin needles, hit everything before you go on stage.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be the greatest bodybuilder.
This is gonna be like 2008 Beijing Olympics U.S. basketball team.
Exactly, the best.
Destroy everybody.
And then if that wasn't enough, when the show is done, you about to hit the rebound. Hire Compton. He'll put on 50 pounds on the fucking rebound, motherfucker.
Get that Increlex rolling.
Yo, when Compton was on his way up, I swear, every time I would see him, I was like, "That's the same person." Like, what the fuck is going on here? It was just like every rebound, he would catch this rebound and turn into a different bodybuilder. It was like, fuck an off season. Who needs an off season? If you can rebound like that, motherfucker, you fuck the off season. You know. I gotta be honest though. Me personally, by the time I get to the rebound, my body's tired, bro. My body's tired. I think you know how Jordan does it. I might have to try that. Like after the show,
really lean. Yeah,
that's the hard part. But like, basically, go into your cruise phase or your recovery phase or whatever you want to call it. Right after the show, stay lean, and then you can still catch the rebound. I don't know, 6 weeks later. You know. I mean, worse for Jordan.
He also stayed really lean because he had that surgery coming up, which he just got done, and you know, so he didn't want to like go into that surgery off of all the gear and fat, you know, because that would be a shitty way to come back into the gym.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. But I think some people, if you have difficult preps or a long season, that might be the smart way to go about things. I feel like I'm piling on. Sometimes I don't even feel like working out sometimes by the rebound. I'm just so fucking tired.
Yeah, it's really odd too, because like I got after my prep this year, I got like blood work done and I checked, you know, all your health markers, but also like inflammatory markers, you know, things that you'd expect to be elevated after like a long prep where you're beating yourself up. And like those markers were like actually not bad at all. You know, all the like C-reactive protein and all that shit. Like it was good. And I still felt awful. Like I couldn't, like my training sucked. I felt fatigued. So there's definitely something else going on there because my health markers looked good.
Well, shit.
I think it's just the rapid change, man. I just think it's the rapid change. There are few. Are there really any people outside of like the first 2 weeks of the rebound? Is there anyone else that I know that's like, oh my God, this rebound is so amazing. I'm feeling great like 24/7. I feel like after the first
when I was young, I feel like how about but you started gear a little later in life,
late,
right?
Yeah, I was late, yeah.
But how about Stu, when you were like in your early 20s? I mean, I kind of felt great all the time when I was in my early 20s.
Were you getting that lean though at that point? Because it's different depending on how lean you get too. Right?
Good point. I wasn't getting shredded, and I also wasn't getting fat, so I was more in between. So I wasn't pushing super hard, and I wasn't pulling super hard. So that's probably why I felt decent. Yeah, good point. You know, but yeah, go. I
had some really good rebounds in the past. Like after my first show with Blue in 21, I went from like 220 to 260 in like couple of months, and I was still really lean too. Like I still had some faint lines in my glutes, 40 pounds up. I started prep at like 245, and I was like barely on any drugs when I did that rebound too, just like a bunch of growth hormone basically. So like, you know, I've had really good years. At 22 I had a good rebound. 23 was okay because I kept on getting sick afterwards. 24 this year was just garbage. I won't even call it a rebound. It was just like it just petered out and died.
But did you feel great? Like within that, like when I'm talking about the rebound, right? Because there's a period where your insulin sensitivity and everything kind of goes back to a base. So I'm talking about that specific period after prep. Did you actually feel great throughout that whole process, or, you know, you started to feel better like as the weeks went on?
Physically, I felt pretty good. Like it just kind of eased back into training. I started getting really strong again. My appetite stayed good for quite a while. Obviously putting on 40 pounds in that quick of a time frame is uncomfortable, but I'd been that heavy once before, and like it was a much better 260, like leaner and everything than I'd ever been before. So like it wasn't as uncomfortable as the first time I'd been there. It's, I think I don't rebound as hard as I used to, or as well as I used to. Maybe I'm not really sure why. Maybe I was a little more beat up this year for sure.
You're also bigger though. Like, I mean, how much more bigger, right? Like as you start getting near, it's because like for me, this was the biggest weight jump I've ever had, right? From post competition. And I didn't feel great all the time, I'll be honest. Like, but the results spoke for themselves. So it's like, oh, fuck it, let's keep going. Right. But that's why I was kind of asking that question, because the first few weeks I felt great. There was a little bit in the middle where I was kind of like, okay, I'm starting to fizzle out. And then I kind of dipped towards the end where it was just once I hit that 280 mark, I was kind of like, just like, yeah, I'm kind of dying. Not that's a bad word to use. I'm kind of I'm kind of just like tired. I'm tired.
Is this like in your peak off season or like rebounding out of North Americans?
Okay, so this is peak off season I'm talking about. That's why I was asking you that question, because you said like a space of 6 months, right? When you were talking about that. That's why I was kind of asking that question there.
Yeah.
I was talking about a much shorter time frame. I was talking about like 6 to 8 weeks post show. Usually when I've had good rebounds, like I'll have a rebound, I'll put on like 20, 30 pounds or something, and then I'll still be pretty lean at the end of it, drop down to a cruise for a little bit, and then I'll go into my off season, So you stay lean enough by the end of that rebound that I can actually like have some headroom to keep on going up afterwards.
Last year, I think I felt pretty. It's hard to remember because you could say one thing, but at the moment, maybe I didn't feel that way. But in comparison to this last rebound, I felt a lot better, man. I remember I was full round, I was strong, and my energy was pretty good. This year, I did not feel that. I don't even know if I looked good. It was hard to tell because when you're mentally burnt out, you don't really even know what you look like.
Yeah.
People told me I look good, I guess. So I guess I look decent, but I felt so shitty that I didn't even care how I looked at that point.
You pushed up quick though, right? Because I was closely following your when you came out of Cali, when you came out of USA, you pushed up pretty quick though, right? Like from post show.
I mean, my body looked that way, but the food wasn't crazy high. But I also don't need a lot of food. I wasn't doing all the cardio though. After doing 3 hours of cardio, man, I would look at I would look at a treadmill and I would get like a trauma
PTSD, just PTSD. Yeah. Your legs just buckle.
So I think I tried it like once or twice, and I'm like, oh man, you know what? Nah, I don't think I'm doing this. So yeah, my weight creeped up pretty fast. But Compton likes to keep you pretty much on a diet for like another 3 weeks or so, and then he pushes it pretty hard because once you know your body isn't gonna respond super harsh, like let's say a day after the show you have a cheat meal versus a week after, you don't get the same like bad response, right? Because your body isn't as sensitive. I try to tell people, okay, have a cheat. The rest of the Saturday, eat what you want. Sunday, eat what you want. Get back on a diet. And if you want to splurge, I'd rather you wait to the next weekend because it's usually not that bad. So
even out a bit, you've found a little like a new homeostasis, and you can go from there. Yeah,
but it's easier said than done. Some people just, if you're new to it, you're probably gonna fuck up pretty bad. If you're new to it.
Everyone's first rebound is horrendous, almost without fail.
Yeah, I don't think. How about you, Ken? Was your first rebound good? Or?
Dude, I mean, I've said it publicly on this show. Like, I feel like even this one, I feel like I messed it up a little bit. Coming right out of it. Like, I tried so hard to stay perfect. And I would say, like, even comparison to like Stu, I would still say because Stu could get away with a little bit more on a rebound. The minute I get away with it, dude, the minute I just look at bread or something, bro, 10 pounds. I just keep going up. So it was very hard for me to keep it together. But what ended up happening was we hit the rebound. I went from like 217 on stage. I was back up to 240 in like maybe like 4 weeks. 4 or 5 weeks.
You was 217 and now you 270 something.
Yeah, I'm 275.
The fuck?
Yeah, but essentially we had to bring me down again, right? From that because it was the 240 recomp was not that great, so I had to come down again. And then once we started the off season, I kind of started to look a little bit better from there again. So. Yeah.
That's like, it's not ideal, but you got to do what you got to do, because if you start pushing food on top of body fat, things don't sit right, things don't move right. It's just not a good idea. Good idea, you know. All right, let's see. Is there anything else going on in the industry? I'm gonna do a quick scan.
Isn't there's a show coming up? I think Rubiel, Rafa,
Romania.
They're all doing it. Romania, and I think Romania's coming up.
What's the other page? Yeah, but I think what's the other bodybuilding page? I can't remember.
Who is?
Who is? Okay. I think Rubiel just pulled out again, and I'm like,
is it official though? Did he officially say he's pulling out?
I don't think Rubiel ever said anything himself. I think the issue now is like his team, because sometimes I want to say, what's wrong with this guy Rubiel?
That word again, bro.
Because sometimes I'm like, in my head, I want to almost criticize, but you can't keep committing to shows. I'm like, wait, I've never heard him. Further, he don't speak English. I've never heard him actually commit to anything. It seems to be like his corner committing this, right? Has Rubiel ever said, hey, I'm doing fucking Romania in Spanish, right? I've never heard him say any of this.
The idea of this was supposedly happening, and then someone said, oh, he's not doing it. I'm like, he was doing it? I didn't know that.
I didn't even. So somebody's making him look bad, because I don't know who's saying that he's going to do all these shows, and he never does any show, which is his right. But still, I mean, I don't think you should put it out there. You know, I don't even know who. Michael DeBoer said if I was a sponsor, I would drop him.
Look at that. Look at the rest of it.
Oh yeah,
sponsored him and signed a contract with him to do EVLS. He doesn't give a shit.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I mean, that sounds
that's
crazy.
Interesting.
Look, AJ said he has not confirmed anything. I was just saying that. Why is it always other people confirming, not him? Everybody, he's always confirmed. Like, who's running this ship? I think he needs to take control of his own career, because motherfuckers is just running him in.
He has control over it. Chris Cormier.
I don't fucking know.
I think Chris is out too, because
on the out, yeah.
Dennis James has asked him point blank, and Chris is like, "Hey man, they're not telling me anything either." So even Chris, I think you can see the frustration in Chris's voice, because Rubiel, I mean, outside of people turning pro, outside of maybe Nick Walker, and Nick backed it up by winning, who's had a very, big rise, off just one pro show, which was literally the day after his amateur show, because I don't know if he would have competed if it wasn't the day after. He didn't even want to compete. I don't know if you guys remember that. He wasn't going to compete in the pro show that day. So I don't know if it's nerves, or maybe he needs someone in his corner like an Oscar Arden that can, make him believe in himself a little bit more. Maybe that's the case, because
or maybe my bad.
Because I just feel like it seems that he's committed to these shows, but maybe there's just this thing with him that as the show gets closer, he just gets a little bit self-destructive. I don't know. That's just the lame person in me, like an observer just looking in. That's what it just seems like to me.
What about if we take the opposite end, right? Just because we want to see him compete, if you need a whole team just to force you to compete, maybe this shit is not for you, motherfucker. Maybe like Blackstone Lab, Victor Rich is over. Victor Rich said, I don't want to compete, and he didn't. Maybe this motherfucker, he must not really want to compete if he's not competing. Like,
Yeah.
like I think we should be able to compete if we want to, right? So nobody has to force any of us to compete. We just do it because we love, we love the sport. If he just has the genetics and he doesn't love the sport, maybe it's not for us to want him to compete. Maybe he just fuck it, just be Victor Richards and be the big guy that walks around expos with the big legs,
The thing though is, and I've said this before because people keep saying Rubiel's an amateur. He's not really an amateur. Rubiel was in Musclemania. He competed in Musclemania, then he moved to the Pro Elite, IFBB Pro Elite. So he's competed a couple of times before he even came into the NPC IFBB. So it's not like this is someone that is just getting their feet wet and actually learning to compete. You know what I mean? He's actually done it before on several levels. So I don't know if it's just the media spotlight. Maybe he didn't expect, to get this big in terms of the media, because I don't know what it's like to be at that level where every single thing you do, every post you make, people are scrutinizing it. Maybe that's part of the reason. I just don't know, but it just seems like there's something going on a psychological level with him that is kind of preventing him from just making these commitments.
Yeah. That's crazy. Hey, Stu, do you want to see him compete, or you don't really give a fuck?
What's to do, man? Like, these armchair quarterbacks in the comment section here are like, this generation has no focus or willpower. Like, what the fuck do you do? Like, who are you? Why are you talking, man? Like, if he clearly has some people around him that are like translating poorly, or just like kind of like they're definitely not helping him. Unfortunately, he can't, speak for himself in English and tell the wider bodybuilding world like what's going on or like what he wants. Yeah, people are just going to keep on bashing the guy if, he doesn't compete like they want to see him compete, because it would be one thing if, like, in football, if you were like really good and you like were refusing to play or something like that, that would be different, right? But like, this is bodybuilding. We're all free agents. Like, there's not necessarily always a benefit financially or otherwise to like competing, because like if he competes and he doesn't win, everyone's going to be shitting on him. Oh, he's not conditioned, or like blah blah blah. He's already very famous and probably making a great living just being that big, right? So like, I don't know. Bodybuilding fans suck. It's kind of all I can say here.
The way I look at it, if he felt that there was any incentive for him to compete, he would be competing. Life is not something that anybody has to force you to do anything. If you see any reason or incentive to do something, you're gonna do it on your own. So the fact that this is happening is almost like, for whatever reason, he doesn't seem to care about this, and I guess that's his choice.
Let me ask you. Let me play devil's advocate here, because Rubiel is not exactly American. He comes from is it Colombia? He's from like a really
Colombian.
impoverished part of Colombia. So is he, outside of his supplement contracts that he's being paid, does he have a YouTube where he's making like some kind of money that it's his own, that is not built on the prospect of him being, a bodybuilder? And the reason why I'm raising that question is because if the answer is no, then he does have an incentive to compete, because it only gets to a point where those contracts don't get better. Either they don't get better, or they get worse, or they drop you, right? Because you're not committing to anything. Yeah. Because Yava Labs that he's with, isn't that the one that's with Chris Cormier and Brion? Mm-hmm. So who knows who facilitated that contract with him? I don't know. But I feel like Cormier's hands are always in it if it's Yava Labs. It might, just from the outside looking in.
I gotta be honest.
That's why. Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta be honest. It doesn't seem like he has control of anything. I don't know if the man has control of his own bank account. Like, it doesn't seem like he knows what the fuck is going on. He seems to just be following and just doing stuff, and it doesn't seem like he's leading the way in any way, shape, or form. I don't know, even know if he knows how much money he has or he's making, which is a dangerous place to be in. Ramy, I felt like Big Ramy was kind of in that position for a little bit, where everybody was his coach, everybody was his man. There's so many fucking chiefs and shit that you don't even know what the person thinks themselves. Like, what the fuck do you want to do? And he seems to have no control of his own career. It seems like everybody else is trying to control him. So that's just a dangerous position to be in, So hopefully that's not the case. I want him to be on an interview with a translator. Listen, what the fuck does he have to say? I don't know. We don't know what the fuck this man is thinking, because we always we see all of this shit. We've never once actually listened to him say anything himself. So we don't even know what the fuck he wants, what's happening. We don't know his health. We don't know if he's injured. We don't know if he don't give a fuck about it at all. We don't know if he has a full-time job. We don't know what the fuck he does, I don't know. So shout out to Rubiel, I guess. I don't know.
He's always smiling though. He seems happy, whatever it is.
The man smiles while
dancing in Dubai. Remember that?
The man smiled while he's working out. And I'm like, wow, this is different. Yeah, shout out Rubiel. I don't think this is the best picture, but I'll have Keon beating Flex personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hate to say it, but like that is pretty impressive, man.
That is, yeah. Flex back double is insane, though. I'm not gonna lie. This is a crazy back double.
Yeah.
But the front, all the other poses, I'm gonna have to go Keon.
And that's Keon's worst shot. That's actually Keon's worst shot that he put there too.
It is, yeah. But I'm gonna have to go Keon. All right, let's see what else we got. Rafael doing Romania too. Okay,
Romania too. Yeah.
Let's see who's confirmed. Do they show who's confirmed? Not
Marcelo
really.
Angeles doing it.
Who?
Marcelo and Martin are both doing it.
Oh, Martin too's doing it. Yeah, Martin's doing it. I forgot.
So I guess he has to be the favorite.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah. Brandao. No, I don't think he would beat him. But Brandao, he it's gonna be tough because he's still actually not big enough. In the mirror, he's big enough, but there's a difference between the mirror pics and the straight on pics. But he's also not hard enough or lean enough. So now he has the structure and shape, but it's almost like you have to pick one side. If he's not big enough, he might as well come in peels, right? Because he's not going to be big enough regardless until he puts on the tissue. So I feel like the only chance he has is using his shape and condition, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, don't kill me, Brazil, but like his Olympia conditioning was not there. He still placed like seventh.
Yeah.
He was seventh, but like conditioning was like not where it needs to be. If you look at like his glutes and hams,
no, they wasn't there. Yeah, the glutes were there, but not there at all. Will he ever switch to classic, Mr. John X?
Why do people say retarded stuff like this? I mean, oh my God.
They don't understand bodybuilding. That's just what it is.
Filthy casual fans.
Why do you comment on something that you don't understand though? Like, it's like going to a tennis page. I don't like the backhand. It's like I feel
the
like
Dunning-Kruger effect. When you know what that is?
No.
So the Dunning-Kruger effect is like when you start out in like something, say bodybuilding, you don't know anything about it. You go in, you know that you're ignorant, and you gradually learn a little bit. You learn a little bit, and then you believe that you know a whole lot because now that you're kind of learning about this stuff, it's like, so your like level of confidence goes way up in terms of like what you think your knowledge level is. And then eventually you realize you don't know shit, so your level of confidence goes way down.
Good point.
And then it comes back up eventually if you stick with it for long enough. Most of these people are like up here at the top of the graph, at the beginning of the Dunning-Kruger graph. And
great point.
They never make it past that point because they don't compete at a high level. They don't talk to people who do this at a high level. They just don't. To be fair, like unless you're doing this at a high level, like it's kind of hard to learn and understand. stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just a stupid question, Mr. John.
It's like you don't know what you don't know. So
Yeah.
what you do know, you believe that's all there is to know.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I was actually talking to this girl that she wants to compete in bikini, and I'm trying to like help her because I mean she's kind of asking for my help, and then she like arguing with me how she doesn't need a coach and all. And I'm like, oh boy, okay, good, great job. Yeah, just go prep yourself. See how that works for you. You know, because she doesn't realize how much she doesn't know. You know, and she's also natural trying to go into enhance, and for this. It was just a lot to the point that I couldn't have the conversation because she felt like she for some reason she felt like she knew everything already and she didn't know anything at all, you know. So that's pretty common.
It's so infuriating too.
It is. It is. It's like talking to a wall.
That's why I think like when it comes to a lot of these bigger shows that have a lot of people watching, like the Arnolds, the Olympias, I think there has to be the commentating or the commentary has to be from a point of view of someone that doesn't understand bodybuilding at all. I think that's where there needs to be a better job because a lot of these people, like you can't, when we're talking about, you could be watching, you know, 4 guys in a lineup and 3 of us here think the same thing. And you ask some guy who doesn't know what's happening and he'll tell you, oh, this is why I think this person should win. But to him, they really believe this person looks better because that's just what they see, right? Mm-hmm. But we're looking at all the other things, you know, like Hany busting most muscular, he wins automatically. Like, you know, it don't matter who's in the lineup, right? Like you see that, you're like, that's freaking crazy. Or Andrew, it's crazy. But like when you start to pick it apart from a bodybuilding perspective, you start to see things that unless you're really into sport, you don't really know. And I don't know if they have to do it from a point of like, I don't know, put something digital on the side, you know, with who won the pose or something, or the commentators like kind of explain to the audience, like, this is how it's actually done. Because that's the problem. And that's why that's the part of bodybuilding I don't like, where if someone doesn't watch the sport and they want to give their opinion on it, they're usually shut down from a perspective of you don't compete and you don't know anything, so shut up. There has to be a way to at least educate these people, to at least give them a better perspective. You know what I mean? Like, because if you don't know anything about, go ahead, Stu.
Unfortunately, the commentators, this isn't their fault. Like they can't really say it how it is, right? Because if they say, "Oh, Brandau's out of shape," then you know the Brazilians are going to send a hit team to his house, to this guy's house, right? So you know you can't really like call it exactly how you see it as a commentator because everyone's just going to say you're hating. So it's actually communicating how this judging and this game works is tough. But I think Tyler's doing a great job. Like because at first at the Olympia, like I didn't see it, and then I saw some better quality photos and videos of Hany and Samson, and I watched the breakdown from Tyler. I was like, okay, I see where you're going here. So that's probably about the best that we can do, because coming from the horse's mouth. Is everyone watching Tyler's YouTube page or Instagram page? Not necessarily, but if you want to learn, that's a good place to start.
Yeah. You have to. There's one guy in the gym. He follows bodybuilding pretty closely, actually. But like I think Stu said it. Honestly, unless you actually, sometimes I feel like unless you're so immersed into it that it's almost like a big part of your life, there's a different level of understanding, right? Because what he says, it's never wrong. It's just you have to look deeper. Like he was like, "Hey, how come Andrew doesn't place top 3? And he looks like he's the biggest guy, and he was shredded." I was like, "Whoa, he was shredded." I don't know what you're talking about. You're like, look at his striations, his chest, his quads, and I'm like, I mean, if you look at some body parts, some body parts on him are peeled actually, but it's the whole body. Like I don't think Andrew was like out of shape per se, but he wasn't in Olympia shape. You know, so I can see how you're watching the fucking stream and you're like, "What the fuck? This guy is huge." Yeah, it's pretty impressive, but there's still levels to it. You know, does Andrew have the most like intimidating structure and physique up there? Yeah, I mean, that's why he's able to get top 5 even when he's off, right? So he is as good as you think. He's just not peaked perfectly. So that's like the guy isn't way off, but he's missing some of the finer things. Like he can't understand why somebody like Derek would beat the Andrew. Now he shouldn't, right? Same way Derek shouldn't beat Samson. But if you bring it, you know, or you don't bring it, then that shit like that could happen. So the casual fans sometimes can get bamboozled by structure or body parts, shit like that, you know, which I think probably happened to a lot of us like early on, you know. But, how come this guy, even with Kai against Phil, I don't believe Kai ever beat Phil at the Olympia. You know, some people had him winning. I think he could bamboozle you with some poses, maybe, but Phil was the better bodybuilder every single time at the Olympia level.
Speaking of Kai, because I just came back from Miami for my anniversary with my girl. I saw Kai at the Miami airport, bro. Random.
Where's he going? Where's he coming and going from?
He was going to Dubai. Yeah, we got to where we were going to. We literally saw each other, and he knew I was a bodybuilder, so we looked at each other. And he wanted to pretend like, oh, this guy probably doesn't know who I am. So he wanted to keep walking. I was like, nah, motherfucker. Like,
hey, Kai, where you going, motherfucker? Where you going, motherfucker? Yeah, I mean, he still looks big. He actually still looks big. Yeah, he's still big. He's not gonna obviously he's not gonna be in the condition he was as an active competitive bodybuilder. Yeah. That's not realistic, but he still look pretty big, you know.
And that's my first time 50 now, right?
Yeah. He's in the late 40s, right? I believe.
He was competing as a teen in the early 90s in New York.
Yeah.
So
here's the truth. I don't think anybody actually knows Kai's real age. I think we only know what he tells us. I mean, let's be honest. I think we only know what he tells us. I don't know if there's an actual birth certificate that anybody has ever seen.
He's created in a lab, so who knows? Yeah.
well, I know he was adopted, but I don't think he has his documents, like his documents of like him being born. Yeah. So does Kai know his age? Is what I'm thinking. First of all, so we can't know his age, you know. Yeah, but we're gonna throw him. We're gonna throw him in that 50 range.
Well, he was really nice, man. You know, like there's no one. It's just in a regular setting, no other like fitness people or whatever. We had like a decent conversation. He wasn't like philosophical. It was just like pure talk. You know, he was really nice, man. Kai's a really nice guy. That was my actual like first time like talking to him for like an extended. We talked for like 15 minutes straight.
Now, did he talk to you in his Brooklyn accent, or it was kind of like a?
He did it.
See, when I actually
knew him in Brooklyn, so he talks to me with his Brooklyn accent. But a lot of people don't hear the Brooklyn accent. Yeah. I think it would be a lot cooler if he talked like that on YouTube. Why not? You know, like you don't always gotta sound professional.
Faking it. People would think he's faking it, dude, because he's been, you know, his public image for so long now.
Good point. Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah,
it's been over 15 years. Yeah, it's over 15 years.
He's kind of like a masterful troll sometimes. So, like, he should do that. That would be really funny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You know what? I 100% think I mean, it's pretty obvious, but he plays. He doesn't really do social media
much now, but when he was doing it, he would play into a lot of things. I feel like he was trolling people.
He's very aware of like who he is and like how people perceive him. Yeah.
Oh man. Even when he wore that dress, like he knows what people are going to say. I think he just wanted the reaction. You're like, I wonder what people are going to think of this. You know?
They must have given him a fat check because. Dude, there's no reason why. Like at this point, he's a businessman. There's no reason why he's gonna don that. They probably said do a guest posing, and we'll pay you X amount. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna do that guest posing, but they didn't expect him to show up with all that paint. That's what I think happened.
But like it's like Kai, you can't stop him. You can't be like, hey, don't do that, right? Like Steve Weinberger did not like that. Like I don't early on when he would be fucking twerking on stage and all that, Steve didn't like that shit. But when he paid for a guest posing, he would just let him do it. He wouldn't be like, hey, Kai, don't do that shit. He was like, fuck it. That's what you want to do. You fucking do it, fucking handstand and twerking and shit. But it's that Sky being kind. Oh, Stefan moved to open 274. That's the only picture. Let me see. I want to see how he's looking. There's no current pictures. Oh, maybe Patrick Torres page. I don't find. I want to see an update. Hey, Patrick Tour. Hold up. P Tour. 1 second.
Yeah.
There we go. No update, motherfucker. So why are they talking about 274 if there's no update?
I think because
Never mind.
he canceled from the Olympia, right?
Yeah,
I
because
think
he won.
It's a tough situation. Like Classic, it's a tough situation, man, because this is the second Olympia he wasn't able to make, and now he's moving into open. I mean, let's be real; it's going to be tough for him to make Olympia in his pro Olympia, pro debut in the open.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
He might need another year because, granted, the guy is about my height. Think about that.
he's tall.
So
Yeah, he's
He
tall.
is? Oh, wow.
yeah. But even he's like 5'11" ish, right? Let's say.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're 274 and like decent, I mean, you're gonna have to be a lot bigger than that. Ken weighs that, and Ken is 5'8",
7.
right? 5'7".
Sorry,
Yeah,
Kev, but
I was the shortest in that our pick, bro. I was like, damn, these guys are
Well,
tall.
I mean, realistically, you're gonna have to be a 300 pounder, and that's minimum. If you're over 5'10", minimum you got to be 300 pounds. Or I mean, unless you're in really good fucking condition, you're from mad lean as fuck, you can maybe be 290 or something. But for the most part, he's gonna need another 30 pounds. So that's gonna take some time. So yeah. So he would have missed 2 Olympias. I don't know. I think he has a higher ceiling in open though, but it's gonna take a while. I don't know how old he is. He looks young to me, whatever that
Seems
means.
young. Yeah,
Maybe-
seems young.
he could be 40, dude. You don't know.
No.
West
honestly,
Africans.
No clue. Nobody knew Andrew was that old when he started. Good Vito is young though, I believe.
Yeah,
He's my age.
Yeah. So now now I can look at his pictures and I can take it for what it is. No more, no more suspicious.
Way off.
So now I'm looking at him and I'm like, I thought he looked better on stage than he did in the fucking pictures. I gotta be honest with you. He looked a lot leaner, a lot more aesthetic, and he was big. I mean, he's actually big, man. So I'm sold on Good Vito. I'm sold now. I think this looks insane for 280. What would that be? 270?
130, 260.
At least 280. Something like
285, 287. Yeah.
That's
I'm sure
impressive.
Vito's probably thinking, right? Like, I narrowly lost to Martin in Detroit, and
Yeah.
Martin's top 4. He's probably thinking like, damn, I could make a statement next year.
Damn right.
That's how
Damn
we
right.
bodybuilders. That's how we think. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
damn,
the math,
it's not
yeah.
like he washed me. He didn't wash me. So it's like he's top
No.
4. I could do something. So he's probably really motivated right now.
I gotta be honest, I thought it was really close, actually. I thought it was really close. If Vito would have got that, I wouldn't have complained. I don't think most people would have complained. And that's Martin did improve, but shit, obviously so did Vito,
Yeah.
I would go as far as to say at Detroit, I think Vito was actually leaner and harder than Martin, which is crazy, which is crazy to say. Martin got even harder for the Olympia. Martin definitely got even harder for the Olympia. But that being said, the fact that Martin is always shredded, so if Vito outconditioned him, that's really impressive. So shout out Vito. A lot of talent in the league. Just that a lot of them aren't competing very often, but the talent is there.
You think Vito's he's working with another coach for off season? He does work with Chris.
Yeah, I mean, he must be. He might just really be good with off seasons, or I mean, I'm sure he had a little camp there in Brazil.
Yeah, a little camp.
Yeah, a little camp that they're gonna push him up. Yeah, Because Chris doesn't really do the off season. He just tells you like, don't get fat.
To get camp, like, do I have to have tents? Do I have to have a campfire? Like, I don't have a camp. I have my girlfriend, and that's about it.
you got me too, Stu. I'm a part of Camp Stu.
Camp Stu. Camp Jansen is closed for business. This is Camp Stu.
I'm gonna tell Stu if Stu starts getting too fat, I'm like, Stu, chill out, Stu. You know.
Like, it's so funny to me because like some of these international guys, like they have camps, they have whole posses and crews of guys. They're like circlers, and they go to the shows with them, and they're in the gym with them when they're training and prepping. And then like, most of us are just like, we're just individuals showing up to a show like, hey, it's just me.
You know what? I kind of like that though. I kind of like when people don't need an entourage to get the job done.
You really don't need an entourage. I mean,
I always wonder too. Is it that we're so saturated as bodybuilders here in the United States, or it's just the sport as a whole? Because some of these guys, man, we were talking about this, I think, earlier in the season when what's his name, the miner.
Tim Budesheim?
Tim Budesheim, yeah. He was in the US for like 3-4 months straight. I'm like, I mean, is someone sponsoring this whole trip? like what? How are you affording this, bro? Like, that's a lot of money,
Think about that. Like, so either somebody's paying all those expenses, some sponsor, or he's just a very wealthy man from bodybuilding alone. Yeah. And keep in mind, this guy has not won a show, so he's like, I don't know. I think I consider myself a pretty similar tier competitor to Tim. We were placing, pretty close to each other this year. And like, that was probably, I don't know. There's a lot of money to that trip. Nobody's throwing that money at me over here.
Facts. They getting money, man. They getting money. I mean, same with Brazil. From what I've heard, what's his name, Brandao and Ramon, they're like pretty fucking wealthy in Brazil.
Yeah,
like really
they're super celebrities.
They're actually celebrities. Yeah, in Brazil.
Wow, holy shit. Yeah. We doing some wrong here? Are we? What's going on, man? We gotta move.
I think there's just way more of us here, man.
Here.
And it's just, there's a lot more of us, and they know that they can get away with like paying us very little here as athletes.
I also think looking at it from the reverse, right? For an American to be aware of a Brazilian bodybuilder means that they have to be one of the best in the world. Right. So Tim Budesheim is a German bodybuilder. For his reach to have reached America, where we can discuss him so openly and know all about that, that means he's at that level. Like, Stu, you're on the same tier, right? Like, you guys are competitively on the same tier from a competitive standpoint, but because there's so many of us here, right? It's not like if Stu in Oregon, right? Stu just walking around in Oregon. No one's like, just like, hey, that's just Stu, he's just from down the block, you know what I mean? It's not anything special. Versus an Urs, probably an Urs from Germany comes over here, people even know who he is and like, and all that stuff. So I think that also plays a role a little bit with that. But Budesheim, for example, it's not like he has like 1 million followers or anything. It's like 100K maybe, here and there. So I don't know how it works. I'll be honest with you. I'm just speculating right here. I don't understand.
No, yeah.
I'm wondering if like maybe we need to get with some of these international supplement companies or something like that, because like they appear to be paying their guys way better.
Yeah,
we gotta ask Carlos, because Carlos is with Darkness.
That's kind of a strange name. But hey,
I'm so confused how that would work, man. Because like he doesn't make posts for them on his Instagram hardly ever. He went down there for like a month. That went pear-shaped, I'm not sure what exactly he does for that team. You know,
It's just being.
I hope no one from Darkness is watching this, man. Don't be
no, I'm not saying anything. I just don't understand how, like, you know, an American guy,
man. Yeah,
I don't understand how an American guy is like that valuable.
Yeah, some guy from Darkness is watching this. Is like, man, that Stu guy makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, Stu's a free agent, so send me some of Carlos's money, okay? Sorry, Carlos.
They have a protein bar there called the dark bar. Send Stu some dark bars.
Dark bar? Oh man!
I saw Carlos standing next to the dark bar. I was like, Carlos, you selling dark bars?
I don't want one of those. I won't be able to restrain myself.
Oh, like Carlos, they really got you out here selling dark bars? Okay, no. That's why you're getting paid so much. I see what's going on. Fucking great team there over there. Darkness marketing team over there.
They got money, you know, because that other one, Integral Medica, they're fucking title sponsors for the Olympia. That's a lot of money. It's well over $1 million. Because
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, if they feel like American bodybuilders are gonna do well in Brazil, maybe just his like your likeness does well. Great shit, fucking send some contracts to some American guys. I mean,
Portuguese dude, let's go. Like, I'll get a tanning bed.
Okay, yeah, you fit right in, you know. But to go to Ken's point, yeah, I think if you're popular enough in a different country to the point that we know of you, you're probably pretty popular, right? We just heard of Bruno. I've never heard of Bruno till this year. He has about 900K followers. Think about that.
It's 1 million now. It's already 1 million.
You see what I'm saying?
Crazy.
So if you think about that, he's very popular. We just don't know of him because I guess, you know. So by the time he was probably already making a better living than all the Americans. If he that many followers, he probably was already making a killing. So we'll see him and be like, how's he making so much money? Yeah, because he's a big deal over there, you know. It would be like, well, it's a little different in America because if you're popular in America, you're usually popular everywhere else, right? Not to toot our horn, but I mean, it's kind of true.
To be like a certain level of competitively good or like famous here to be known internationally, you know?
Still, you mean, yeah. That's a good point. Yes, Stu got some international fans. I'll be seeing them in the comments. You know that? Puerto Rican. He got a lot of Puerto Rican fans.
Shut up.
I think a good thing, and I think that's why it made sense for a guy like Hunter, right, to go overseas, compete this year. If you have the funding to be able to do it, to be able to compete overseas as an American bodybuilder, I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it makes a ton of sense to be able to do that.
Is Hunter with Labrada Nutrition still?
Probably part owner. I mean, his name has got shares. His last name has got shares of the damn thing. What do you mean?
Is he allowed? Wait, is he allowed to sign? Is he allowed to sign with a company?
Guess he probably could, but might make Thanksgiving dinners a little awkward, you know. I think his contract. I haven't talked to him about this, but I'm assuming it's a little bit of a different situation, to a little bit more of a sweetheart deal, you might say, than, you know, if me or Ken or you were to like go and try and get a contract with a supplement company.
It's like we'll match you 5%, you know, of whatever the shares are, you know, for the company.
Hey,
or 20%, you know.
Forget about commissions. I want profit sharing. I want dividends.
Yeah. Wait, didn't we see him like rocking like Hostile shirts and gear like not too long ago?
Yeah, like one day.
Okay.
I remember seeing that. I was like, that's odd.
I'm like, how did that work? Yeah.
I never saw it again.
Probably they were beefing at home. Something happened. He's just like, you know what, Dad?
He got mad. He got mad at Pops. He said, fuck this shit. Yeah. We're wearing this, yeah, motherfucker.
It's t-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, they're friends, I guess. Could you do that though? If I came on this podcast with like a with like a Redcon shirt, if that's is that not that's I don't think that's kosher, right? That's kind of I don't know. I guess I mean you could do that maybe if you're part owner like him, you know. But if you're sponsored, I don't think you could do that. Yeah, I don't think
because I've seen him on his videos give recommendations for supplements that people can use that like. You know, Lebrada Nutrition doesn't make some of them, but he gives like open recommendations to competitors of Lebrada Nutrition. So I think, especially because his last name is Lebrada, people kind of understand that, like, listen, this guy he's affiliated with this company no matter what. Like, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit different for him versus you're sponsored by Lebrada and you're like, hey, you know, go get some animal whey protein over there. It's pretty good for you. Like, you're done. You know what I mean? It's over.
They're gonna be like, what are you doing? Yeah.
So, like Lebrada Nutrition they have a pretty small lineup of like products, and I don't think they probably do very much volume at all. It's like a subset. So the Lebrada Pro Series, which Hunter is associated with, is like the bodybuilder supplements, you know, think like EAAs and like hydrolyzed whey isolate, like really high quality stuff. That's what he's technically associated with, but that's a part of Lebrada Nutrition. And they're selling ready to drink protein shakes at every convenience store in the country, you know? So like they're doing very well as a business. So like, even if that whole Pro Series was losing a bunch of money, like they could still pay Hunter well to be with them, you know?
Yeah.
Trust me, I bet you that Pro Series is not making it's not making a dent, you know.
Yeah.
From wholesale distribution. You're in Walmart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, once you hit Walmart, you're solid. Yeah.
I would say 90% of people who drink the RTDs have no idea what Lebrada is. They probably don't even know what bodybuilding is. They probably think it's strongman or some shit. They have no, you know, it's that shit is at this point it's mainstream, it's commercial, it's like the ready to drinks. Everybody drinks that shit. It's just like a
really profitable,
shake, like muscle milk, right? Like in the bodybuilding world, let's be honest, muscle milk is considered low grade protein. But it's an RTD, man. They're selling all over the country. There's a reason why they're still selling the way they are, and they're richer than half of the supplement companies. Because, man, you know,
whoever started that company, man. Whatever they sold it for, because it was Cytosport. I don't know who the fuck owns it at this point. I don't know who owns it.
And it's such a good name. It's a good name, like the name of the muscle milk. You know, it's like makes sense.
It doesn't sound intimidating to the average consumer.
Exactly.
It's just milk, motherfucker.
Milk for muscles. You know.
Oh man, I remember drinking those muscle milk RTDs and like. They've been around for a long time. I'm talking about like high school. I was drinking that shit.
Yeah, it's been around forever, and they're still around.
They're rich as fuck. I'll tell you that right now.
So like Lebrada is definitely like they made their chops, you know, selling their ready to drink shakes and stuff, right? But like because they're selling them everywhere, but like so is Animals selling their products everywhere too. You know, like most of their sales are not going to be through their athletes and their codes and like direct to consumer. It's going to be through, you know, maybe online supplement distributors, Amazon. They have huge Amazon sales. I was talking to Shaw about this at the gym because, you know, I think they're in Walmart, right? They're definitely in GNC.
Yeah. Animals in Walmart, they're in GNC, they're in Vitamin Shop.
Yeah.
Trust me, they're making their sales from my code, bro. They're making sales from all over. They're everywhere. Yeah.
So why do they need you, Kennedy? It's to lend them credibility as a bodybuilding brand. And, you know,
that's important.
Don't take this the wrong way, but like they could do without us, you know?
Yeah.
But the fact that they still want to have athletes, it just kind of shows that they're still interested in the sport, and they do have hardcore roots, and they want to maintain those. I think so.
It's the age-old saying we've said, like muscle tech, right? Like eventually, the identity of the brand still has to be tethered to something, right? Boom. If you know, Animal, for example, is it's still tethered to its hardcore roots, no matter how you look at it. And if you're someone who wants to go a little bit further, you look into the company, and it's not there, right? That hardcore profile is not there. You start to lose a little bit. You start to be a little disillusioned. That's why I think, because companies like Muscle Tech, they're not really, I'm sure they're making some money off Blessing and some of these guys, but Muscle Tech is killing it, man. They're one of the number one distributors in the world. So I think where people like bodybuilders come into the play is giving that company credibility in the space, right? That's all we do. We're not salesmen. I think the age of paying bodybuilders 6-figure contracts to put them in an ad with a barbell screaming and put your protein shake right next to them, those days are over. People understand that is not the number one. That is a contributing factor to building the body, but it's not the only thing, right? Like there's all training and everything else. So, yeah.
There's not one athlete that you could justify making $1 million per se, like to make that back at least. If you want to do it, like let's say if Fuad wants to pay Samson 7 figures, that's more so because he wants to do it because he just want to fucking Olymp, you know. But I don't know if you could really justify it. Whereas when Jay was getting that with Muscle Tech, you could justify it because at that point I was literally using Muscle Tech just because motherfucking Jay and I don't know Dexter and those guys. So it was pretty much they were the reason. So it made sense. But it's a different day and age.
The thing about Samson is, no offense to Fuad, but like he's not selling enough volume to pay Samson $1 million a year, you know, or even like, you know, like a 6-figure contract. I don't know what his contract is, right? But like, he's not going to be making a shitload of money from it because they just don't do that volume. They don't have that money. Now, a company like, you know, Raw, they might because they're selling in Walmarts now, and every GNC, like they're all over the damn place. And once you get that wide scale distribution, that's when, you know, you have enough money to, if you care to, pay high level athletes. I mean, like Axis Sledge is in GNC now. I don't think they're in Walmart, but like they're in GNC, and you know that's a big step for them. So I'm sure the company's doing good. However, they don't really have any actively competing pros. I've looked at their lineup. I mean, the Brandon Barrow's on there. He's not actively competing. Vincenzo Massone is on there. He's not actively competing. Those are the only 2 open guys. And then there's Anton, the young classic guy who won the nationals last year.
Missy
Truscott. She's been there for like a while now. But you know, the thing about Accent Sledge is like Seth sells the brand. They don't need big name athletes to lend credibility to their brand. Seth is the brand, and you know, anybody who joins the team needs to like fit themselves to that kind of image and mold. So, and they don't pay their athletes. You know, just, you know, from what I've heard, they typically will have you on as like an ambassador basically for like a year, and then they'll talk about paying you. So, you know, for a guy like me or Ken, it's like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Well, so basically, if you're watching this, we're useless. Don't sign us, motherfucker.
I mean, that's the fundamental thing here. Is like, it's like PJ was saying. It's like it's a passion project, basically, to have any of us on board.
Yeah. I mean, but PJ has a lot of experience with that. He signed at one point. He was signing a lot of athletes, and they just a lot of them. First of all, at that time, they didn't care to do social media. That was the time where bodybuilders were like, "Fuck that! I don't want to be an influencer." I think we're past that now because you ain't making no fucking money if you don't got an Instagram, motherfucker. So I think people are learning now that you do have to play that game, but still, I mean, can any bodybuilder justify making 6 figures now? I don't know. I'm sure somebody can, but C-Bump.
I mean, shit, he's part owner in that company. He was smart.
The only people that can justify that kind of money, a lot of times, the reason why they can't be bodybuilders is because it's the people that can capture the high school to, you know, college population. Those are the people that you want to get. If you can get that population, a lot of times, it will typically translate to sales. Young men who are not comfortable with the way they look essentially. That's what you're trying to capture, right? And if you can capture that population, you're going to get sales at least for the 4 years of till they discover who they actually are, till the next set comes in. And that's why CBum is so good, because outside of, just general population and, he's great like Arnold or whatever, that is the demographic that CBum was able to capture from very early on in his career. That kind of just kept raising his elevation, in terms of his success and whatnot. And that's why, he's part of where he is today.
This is why Bradley Martin is always still making videos with those TikTokers. He don't want to be around those little motherfuckers, but it's good for business, motherfucker. It's keeping you with the young crowd,
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to get some? Huh?
Hey guys, I gotta head out right now. Sorry. Our containers are getting picked up. Sorry.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I'll say I'll do two. Let's do 2 questions. Because I just got back, bro. My luggage is still downstairs. I made this podcast for you, matey. So
thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that, man. My puppy is just giving me the death stare right now. Like, all right. He wants something. All right. Yeah, no questions. He's locked in. He's like, motherfucker, you sitting there for 2 hours. All right. Let's see. Combat water retention. Isn't it? No. What do you think of Jace? What do you think I'm gonna do a bodybuilding one. With this training, I don't like these questions. I'm gonna go to a different one. 1 second. How's your day going, Ken?
Bro, I just got back from Miami, man. I'm doing pretty good.
For what, work?
No, it's me and my girl, our anniversary.
I saw that. Happy anniversary.
Yeah. We got back and got back to the cold, man. Like, you guys have the warm weather. You don't understand. You
still in Jersey, huh?
Bro, man. I got out of that terminal, dude. That cold hit me. I was like, damn, I gotta leave this place.
Oh no, yeah. It's the East Coast it's a different ball game, man.
Different ball game. But Miami, bro, it's I've never been there. It's very different. Like, when they say Miami has a very heavy Cuban population, I didn't really understand till I got there.
Bro,
people don't even speak English in the Ubers, bro. I swear to God, if you don't know Spanish, even our hotel, some of the signs in the hotel were grammatically incorrect.
Bro, it's funny you say that. Like,
the white people are Cuban, the black people are Cuban, the Cuban people are Cuban. And everybody's Cuban. I'm like, oh, I thought you was black. Oh, I thought you was white. Everybody's Cuban, motherfucker.
Nah, I'm Cuban. I was so surprised,
You're not Jamaican, bro? No, I'm Cuban, bro. Oh shit, damn. Okay, my bad. Everybody's Cuban. They got a lot of Haitians too, though. At some parts of it. All right. If Keon adds the necessary weight to move to open, do you think it will ruin his midsection?
It's a great question. I guess the preface question to that is, what constitutes the necessary weight? Are we talking about 20 pounds? Because 20 pounds, Keon would, from where he is now, 20 pounds, Keon would still be under 220, right?
Oh, yeah. He might be like the low 220s, right?
Like low 220s, right? He was okay, maybe not, because he was 208 for 208. So 228. So he's on a 230, right?
I think he said 205, and then I heard somebody else say 201, but he was low 200s, let's say.
Yeah, so he's still under 230 pounds. So what is the necessary weight, and what's the goal, right? Is it to win an Olympia? Can Keon win an open Olympia? Me personally, I'm not so sure. I think that he can be one of the top in the world, but it's kind of the same problem, like the big man problem, right? I just don't think that genetically he can be that big. You know what I mean? That big, but his lines are perfect. They're perfect.
If he had to beat Derek to be Miss Olympia, I think he could. Now, beating Samson is a different look, It's a different look to beat. So I think it's going to be a lot harder to beat Samson as Keon than to beat Hany and Derek.
I think he had the weight. Huh?
So this is why I rebuttal you, because people keep comparing him to Derek. Derek was sucking down to make that weight. Keon has no, Keon can't even hit the weight limit.
Sure.
That's the difference. So people don't think Derek, I don't know why people don't think Derek is actually big.
Oh, he's big.
Like,
He's big.
Derek is pretty big. Like Marin is no small guy. And next to Derek's shorter, but size and width, Derek was still technically bigger than Martin.
He is. His upper body is bigger than Martin.
Yeah. He's not a small guy. And when I compare Hany, I don't compare this version of Hany. I compare the Arnold. That version of Hany is not smaller than Samson. So we're talking size. There's still a lot of size there.
Muscularity. Like muscularity.
Yeah. It's gonna be. I still think it's gonna be tough, like open wise, to go toe to toe, full blown. Because then the weight. Why Keon is so good is because Keon is perfect. His weight and his proportions and tie-ins and everything is perfect for the weight limit, right? There's a weight limit set. If guys were able to go to 230, 240, let's say it was under 240, the rest is open, right? Keon may not be Mr. Olympia 212. You know what I mean? Like, it's just because of that specific weight limit criteria, he's the perfect person for that, So I don't know. It's a good question. We'll never know. We'll actually never know, because how the weight is, what can he do where does he lose the vacuum? That's where the weight falls apart, because his midsection is not perfect. So wherever that weight limit is, where he's like, bro, this vacuum ain't happening no more. That's the answer to your question,
So if you look at his stage pictures, it looks like his waist actually got smaller, right? Now, we know damn well his waist didn't get smaller, because you don't gain all, It's just that his posing has always been good. His posing got even better.
Yeah.
If he's in the pose, I don't know if there's anybody more aesthetic than him. Now, when he's relaxed, his midsection actually isn't that good. If he's just standing there and not in a pose, his midsection is not the best. It's not like bad, but right. But it's not the best, because his ab wall, he has the split, and his actual waist just standing there chilling isn't like super narrow. Now, in the front relaxed, you pull that vacuum, front lat spread, pull the vacuum, there's no better way. So his waist probably already grew, but we can't tell because he's in the post. So like what you said is true. Once he can't pull the vacuum, he's always going to be able to pull it, but once he can't pull it to that extent, to just make the shit once he can't just make it disappear like that, that's when it might start going backwards. But I don't think that'll be the case at 220. I honestly think at 220, that would be more than enough for him to be competitive in the open. To win, he's gonna probably have to push a little heavier, possibly. But to be a top 6 guy, shit, I think he could do it at 220. I gotta be honest.
220, me too. I believe so. 220, I think top 6, he can make top 6. Pretty easy. Yeah. Now,
whenever he reaches the max at 212, once he's 211, bro, what the fuck is that gonna look like? Because that's gonna look stupid. He already looks so much bigger than them. He's not, but he looks bigger than them. So what's gonna happen when he's fucking 6 pounds bigger? Holy fuck, that's gonna look insane, So the 212 is where he's gonna dominate. Can he win the Open Olympia one day? It's hard to say. I think it's possible, but you could say that with a lot of people. I think it's possible for Martin to win the Olympia. I think it's possible for Andrew to win the Olympia. Does that mean they will? Who the fuck knows?
And that's I hate when that question keeps being asked of Keon, like, oh, when are you moving to Open? Like, bro just won his 2nd title. You know what I mean? Like it's almost disrespectful to the 212 division when you ask the 212 champion, when are you moving to Open? Because everyone is considering your title to not be worth anything, if that makes sense.
Basically,
you know what I mean? Like they're basically
like
saying, they're basically saying, oh, you won 212, cool. You won it once. Oh, when are you moving to Open? Like the 212 is worthless. And that's where I feel like for Keon, it's a little bit, I feel like he from a competitive standpoint, Keon has done 100%. But I think from a 212 Mr. Olympia standpoint, I think where he needs to start, he needs to kind of like how Chris Bumstead built the legacy of the classic, right? I think Keon could be that person for the 212 to kind of bring back honor to the division, because it kind of lost a little bit of prestige after Flex Lewis left. So we'll see what happens.
There was that lull that happens like when Phil and Kai left. Remember when Brandon won? There was that lull. You're like, wait, this is not as competitive as it was. And then now you're trying to say, oh well, this I forget the guy that took fourth, I think this year. He's super aesthetic. He's like I don't know if he's Brazilian or Spanish or what he is.
What, in open?
No, 212 Zagarella, something like that. Zagarella.
Oh, Zagarella, yeah.
Yeah, so bro, his shape in that front double, it was rivaling Keon. Yeah, it was rivaling Keon. And he was peeled. I'm like, whoa. Honestly, bro, I probably would have had him in third. I got to be honest with you. I think he looks insane.
And he's dense as shit too. Mad dense.
And wide. Yeah, bro. Yeah. He got this shit going. He got shit going on. Keon did look like rounder than him because he's not round. He's dense but not round. So he would actually. This is where the weight comes in. That's why Keon isn't as dense, but he makes up for it in roundness. So this is why he can make weight. Zagarella is so dense that this is why he's gonna have a tough time beating Keon, because for him to look as big as Keon, he might not be able to make the weight so easily. You know. So this is why you have to be like the perfect prototype for certain divisions. It's like Chris Bumstead at that weight, he beats everybody. You move that weight 15 pounds. I don't know if Chris would win. You don't know. So
you just don't know. That's the thing.
Exactly. The way Mike Summerfield was looking, if you give those motherfuckers 10 more pounds, I don't know if Chris could beat that motherfucker.
I don't know. Some judges had Mike winning. Even on that day.
You know what's weird? Because in the individual routines, I thought he looked good, but I didn't think it was crazy. I'm like, wow, that guy looks good. In the comparisons where I was like, damn, this motherfucker. It looked like he's beating everybody. In the front double, he's beating everybody. Even in the back double, I'm like, fuck, this motherfucker looks like he's winning the show. So in the lineup, he stood out even more. That guy is good. Have you seen his pictures lately? He looks like an open bodybuilder. Summerfield? He just looks fucking huge. I don't know what happened, because last couple of years, I didn't think he was like a standout. He
came fifth. His highest placing before this was fifth, no? He's always been a top 5, top 6, top 8 guy. But I know that in person, I don't think he's as big. Because there were a couple of videos that came out, right? That in person, he's not as big as some of these guys.
Even next to Ramon in the gym pictures, honestly, I was like, he's good, but he can't beat Ramon from the gym pictures. On stage, oh man, he was beating Ramon handily. Yeah,
right.
But
Ruff said he found the spot. He found the perfect lighting.
He definitely did, because motherfucker looks big as hell over here. I'm like, whoa, is he this big? That looks crazy. He found the secret spot, bro.
Apparently on Dennis' podcast, he was saying, because the reason why he wears those long socks, because I always found it weird. He has a skin condition where his skin actually peels off. If he just walked around, his skin would actually peel off. So he wears those socks to kind of protect, or basically not show people the scars on his legs and stuff like that, which is kind of wild.
Honestly, I assumed he was having water retention from post-show or something, and he was trying to keep it at bay. Anytime I see somebody with long sides, I assume they're trying to keep the water away. But that's
circulation.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
peeling skin. All right, let's do one more. You think y'all probably gotten pro? No, do you guys? Primo, did you ever make more progress training 6 to 7 days a week compared to 4 to 5?
I would say this is the most progress I've ever made. And I don't know. There's a lot of things that go into it, right? But this is this is the lowest amount of training I've had per week. So I do 3 days on, 1 day off, and it kind of rotates like that. Meanwhile, for the longest time before Nationals 22, I just worked out 6 days a week. 6 days a week, take off Saturday. You're good to go. Like, and I did that for years. So those are the only two metrics that I have. And from this portion, I mean, you guys know the whole story already. I've seen a massive increase, but there's also other things that have come into play on this side, right? Since then. So I don't know I don't know what's but I think that it definitely feels better. I feel like I've put, just from my back progress, which was a weak point, I would say that I've definitely improved that a lot, training this style with just 3 days on, 1 day off. So less volume at this stage for me, I think has helped.
So yeah, I literally did the exact same shit you did. I've been doing 6 days a week with Saturdays off for the last, I don't know, fucking 7, 8 years. As long as I can remember, I was doing that. I mean, I've had short periods of times where I did like push pull legs or whatever, just because of timing or schedule. But for the most part, 99% of the time, 6 days a week for the last 8 years. And then I want to say maybe 6 weeks out, all the way till like the whole Rebound, the whole 9. I did. I went down to 5 days a week. Then I ended up going to 4 days a week, and I felt like I was progressing a little better, actually. Now that being said, I don't know if I would have progressed faster doing that 8 years ago. I don't think I needed the recovery. I think I was recovering just fine. But now I'm sure you feel it the same way I feel it. The recovery isn't the same. Like, you know, bro, I literally used to think like Dorian was lying. I was like, there's no way you do 5, 6 working sets. Impossible. You're not going to grow. Now I get it. Maybe at the time I thought that at like 21 years old, it might be right. I don't think I could have grown on that. I couldn't make enough force, and I didn't have enough mind muscle connection, and I didn't even have enough tissue probably to grow from doing that low volume. But now, sometimes I feel like the more rest I have, the lower the volume, the better the progress to some extent. Yeah. You know, any lower than 6, 7 working sets per body part, maybe it's too low for me. But honestly, 6 to 10 working sets per body part, it's kind of my sweet spot. Right now, I'm on my health phase, so I'm a little bit weaker. So I might do like 12 working sets just because I'm not as strong. So I feel like I can handle a little more volume.
Handle a little bit more.
You know, but when I'm,
bro, man, I used, you probably did this too. I used to do like 20 working sets, bro.
Keep going.
I used to do like 5 exercises, 4 working sets per exercise. Maybe 2 or 3 of those had drop sets in between. You know,
heavy as fuck.
Heavy as fuck. Just moving that weight, 20 and 6 days a week. Wake up the next day. Boom, good to go again.
Ready to go.
Another day.
There was no, I couldn't even comprehend this recovery thing. Everybody talking about, I take 2 months off. I'm like, why would you need it? I don't even need a extra day off. Like I'm fine. But if you can't understand it, you probably don't need it at the time. You probably just don't need it. Once you'll know when the time comes when you need to take time off. Nobody has to tell you, a motherfucker. You know, you're like, bro, I can't. I need another day off. Fuck this shit. You know, to the point that if you don't even, for us that we enjoy the gym, if you don't even want to get up and go to the gym, you're probably overtraining, and you know, So honestly, first of all, I can't recover from that, and I don't actually need that to grow, because if you can't recover, you can't grow. You know, recovery is growth. So. That's something you do later on. What was the actual question? So this person, it depends where you at. I would probably off the bat recommend 4 or 5 days, but I don't know where you at. I'm gonna click his profile just to get a look at him real quick. So
if he's starting out, man, 5 days is a sweet. I think 4 is too low if you're starting out. I think 5 days is like a sweet spot. You know, take 2 days off during the week, and then 5 days. Good to go. He
looks young. He looks young. He has a good amount of muscle, not a crazy amount of muscle, but he looks like he has a very fast metabolism, because he looks pretty much shredded in every picture. 4 or 5 days a week. If you have a good metabolism like that, I don't think you need to you might be burning too much calories 6-7 days a week.
Yeah.
You know, now that's a whole different reason from why we did it. That's we don't have good metabolism, but still, I think if you're training 6-7 days a week with your metabolism, you're probably burning too much.
Pushed it a
So
little bit.
let's go a good medium. 5 days a week probably be good for you. You know, and go by how you feel as well. So
yeah, and eat. Don't be afraid to lose your abs. Eat a little.
Exactly. Yeah. Ela Milos. That's his name. Ela Milos.
Milos?
Yeah, so shout out to you. Yeah, he had a good physique actually too. So for you, I would probably go by how you feel, but I would say about 5 days a week. And stop saying so lean, man. You fucking shredded, bro. Eat some more food, bro. All right, brother.
All right, dude.
Speaking of eating food, I'm about to eat my meal too.
Yeah, bro. It was good. I'll catch you on the next one.
All right, champ. You already know, brother. I'll catch you.
All right.